And welcome to today's going live for 30 days and shattering the invisibility cloak. Hello, my name is Damaris of Dama Unleash and welcome. My eyes are darting all over the place because I kind of didn't check what day I'm on. I think I'm on day 13. Yeah. I will correct it if need be. Let me quickly refer to my notes. Today is oh gosh, I don't even have my watch here. I think today is the 6th. Yeah. Therefore, I'm on day 13. And welcome. So, today I am coming on and thinking around, or rather, why are we here, right? The reason I am doing this is because I intended to go live for 30 days in order to dissolve this fear of coming on live so that I can be more visible for my business. And one of the things that was a challenge for me was what to talk about. And I remember I've been saying this on many of my lives, and I decided today let me talk around that a little. So I'm a recovering perfectionist, still in recovery. Sometimes I fall hard, and for me this became important to do when I got the inspiration to do it. I ran with it because I knew that it was also going to contribute to my exercise for trying to rip myself away from perfectionism. My perfectionism comes from growing up. I'm a middle child. Many middle children will understand what that means. So I'm a middle child, and one way of surviving this was to stand out. And one way of standing out is through perfection. So when you get some sort of recognition from being perfect, it's what works, isn't it? So you perfect it. You perfect a perfectionism. So I knew that I'm going to have to drop some of that perfection if I need to move away from being so fearful of this coming on live, because not everything is perfect. And that's what right now I'm thinking of, the many ways in which we subject ourselves to very, very high standards. One of the things that many people who have worked with me say is that I am so hard on myself. And when I was younger, that came across as a compliment. Because that was the aim, right? If I'm hard on myself, then I put this pressure on myself. There's no way that I'm not going to strive for the best. So, but with time, as I'm growing older and I'm getting wiser, hopefully, well, yes, as I'm getting wiser, it started to be uncomfortable. And the more I did this whole personal development and understanding where this was coming from, it became a little bit uncomfortable now. Say, okay, I'm so hard on myself. Why? Right? And the being hard on myself was because I needed everything to not go wrong, right? And because now I'm no longer a child, as an adult, there's a lot that I'm now responsible for. So having learned that the only way to survive is through perfection, obviously that just, came into my adult life, and here we are. However, I also noticed that this perfectionism takes a lot out of me. And sadly, I also learned while in this whole perfectionism frenzy, I also learned that it was rewarding. And I don't know right now whether it was rewarding because that's the standard I had set or for myself, and then that therefore people were just expecting that, or whether it was just me doing me and being hard on myself. But I do recognize that when I wasn't being perfect, I would get into trouble for it, right? So my perfection was then required almost everywhere. And though I want to say by myself, but also the environment, right? The environment that I was in, and maybe because I was scared of not being perfect, and then I would see these other things, because some people would take their imperfections in their stride. Me, on the other hand, it was like I did not even allow myself to find out. So it's that whole thing of, if you can't do it right the first time, don't do it, type of thing. And I, I guess it was sheer luck that I had children. I chose to have children, and in not wanting them to be hard on themselves unnecessarily, I would then teach them to allow themselves to try things, to try new things. Whereas for myself, it was like, what? We're not trying anything until we know for sure. And I recall a friend of mine saying to me, we were talking about regret, and I said to her, oh, was it self-forgiveness or something? And she asked me a question and I answered, and she said to me, I doubt that you have many regrets in your life. I said, okay, what do you mean? She said, because it looks to me like everything you do, there's nothing that you do that you have not thought of all the different ways this can go. And I thought, that's actually true, right? By the time I do something, I've thought of all the different ways it will go right or wrong, and I'm already getting up for whatever. It does not mean that I will only choose the one that I think that it will go well. It's just that I am aware of all the different parts. And therefore, because it's my decision, it's very hard to regret that, because I did make that decision with the information I had at the time, which is very good, actually, I think. Right? So, but at the same time, it's good that I'm able to check all the different options that are available to me at that time. That's great. What's not great is spending so much time trying to figure out if the 1600 possible. This reminds me of Doctor Strange, the movie, where he, I think it was in one of the Marvel movies, maybe one of the Avengers, where he was oh yes, when Thanos, yeah, something about Thanos, and he was thinking of all the different ways in which this decision that this Thanos was going to do or had done already make at the time can come out as. So obviously I'm not Doctor Strange, but it's a similar thing. So, and mine is not as quick as his, right? Mine takes a while. And sometimes while I'm doing that, then nothing gets done, because I'm wondering if the 16,030 outcomes are enough. Did I think of everything? And that's exhausting, right? So today I'm thinking about how trying to be perfect or trying to achieve a certain level of perfection is not always a good thing. That does not mean one must be sloppy and just, do without giving any thought. But at the same time, on the flip side of that, how much time are we spending trying to get everything just right for us to get satisfied? So, as a recovering perfectionist, I'm calling all my perfectionists, my fellow perfectionists, into recovery and say that maybe we need to look at what feeds our perfection. Why do we need to be so perfect all the time? What exactly is that? And when we start from there, just a second. Papa, please close this door. Right? So what we feed in our perfection seeking, what exactly is feeding that? Because I know for a fact that it is part of a coping mechanism that one picked up somewhere, but what is it feeding? And once we can we can get to the bottom of that, then we can see whether it serves us or not. Of course, there are places where we need to get a little bit of effort in. If you're going to be writing a test and you're not going to do your best, you're gonna fail. That's the places, man, right? So, but is it everywhere? Should we be thinking for 10 days on this? Or some of the things we can accept that they will get better with time? One of the things that I struggled with when I started doing this work, especially the content creation, was let your first draft suck. What? Suck? How do I let that happen? Right? But eventually I did, and I'm glad I did. So that is the beauty of doing the work, that things that used to be completely unavailable, they start becoming available. So that is my little thing for today as I work on this invisibility stuff. And I suppose this whole perfectionism also feeds into that. So I just thought today to come on and talk just a little about that specifically. I hope this gives you a bit of thought if you're struggling with perfectionism, and if you need some help with that, get it, really, really, because you deserve what you prefer. And thanks for joining me. If you're watching this and this spoke to you, please leave me a replay so that I can see, or just the like, so that I can see that it's reaching others. And if this spoke to you, let me know which part spoke to you. So join me again tomorrow for my day 14 of 30. We are almost halfway. We are almost halfway. So thank you so much for joining, for watching. So see you tomorrow. That's it from me for today. Bye bye.